Stewie. Alright guys, welcome to the show. We're going to start off with a moment of silence for all the hockey players that lost their lives in the car crash in Saskatchewan. So start off with a little bit of moment of silence for them before we break into the UFC discussions for tonight. Alright guys, let's talk some UFC. It's going to be a great card tonight. We got Khabib Nurmagomedov going up against Raging Al Quinta. It's going to be a great fight. As well, we got Rose Namajunas defending her title for the first time against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I don't know if you guys remember the first time Joanna and Rose fought. It was a hell of a fight. It was at UFC, was it 217, I think it was? It was GSP and Michael Bisping was the main event, but that was a hell of a fight, that one there with Rose and Joanna. Joanna came in there heavy favorite in that fight against Rose the first time. Tons of trash talking, back and forth battle there. And then come fight time, Rose was able to put her away in the second round, I believe it was, in that scrap. So that was absolutely incredible to see what Rose Namajunas can do in that sense against a heck of a striker in Joanna Jędrzejczyk, who's very, very strong on the feet as well as the ground. So good job to Rose in that first fight. The second fight tonight here should be just as good as the first, if not better. I think this will be more of a war. I think Joanna is going to bring a little bit more of the fight tonight. Rose is going to continue to bring the fight as well. I can see this one going at least 5 rounds. It's going to be a 5-round war with probably, I'd put my money on Rose coming out on top, but it's going to be a very, very, very close fight. Joe Lozon is also on the card tonight, guys. He's a really good fighter. He usually always snags fight of the night bonuses, so that'll be interesting to see how he does. Prelims, we got Beck Rawlings is on the prelims. Oliver Oba and Mercier is on the prelims. We got Felice Herrig and Karolina Kovalevich, I believe. Kovalevich. Should be a great fight too. There are tons of great stuff on the prelims and the main card. The main card has changed like 3 times so far. A lot of the matches were, there was about 3 matches scrapped because of Connor's rampage that he went on. We lost Michael Chiesa was supposed to be on this card, but he had to pull out due to an injury sustained when the Conor McGregor incident went down. So Michael Chiesa is off the card tonight. He's not fighting. Anthony Pettis was gonna step up and fight Khabib Nurmagomedov, but on short notice he had to pull out because based on I guess he wanted more money, and UFC wasn't willing to give him the money that they wanted to do this fight. So we lost Anthony Pettis in this card. Max Holloway was originally supposed to take this fight after Tony Ferguson fell through, but they would not let Max Holloway take this fight based on the fact that there was too much weight to cut, and it was unsafe for Max Holloway to take this fight. But I do see this fight somewhere down the line. If Khabib wins tonight, which I'm sure he will, I'm not sure if it's going to be first round, second round, third round, but if Khabib wins this fight tonight, I definitely see the UFC making that one down the line with Khabib against Max Holloway, probably at a different weight class. Probably they do it at 170, which is probably a little bit easier for Holloway to do than for him to go down all the way down to 155, where he stays at like 145 usually. But they could meet in the middle, I'm sure, and do a fight at 170, which would be unbelievable. Depending what happens with Conor, that's another big money fight too. If things go wrong for Conor and they can't do what they want to do, but that could definitely be a hell of a fight too, and would sell a lot of pay-per-views if they were able to book Khabib versus Conor in the future, which hopefully it might happen, but depending with all the lawsuits and stuff against Conor, it's probably not likely that it's going to happen. Yeah, as far for Khabib, there's lots of good opponents. I mean, I'm sure the Holloway fight could happen down the line at 170 if Khabib wins tonight, which I'm sure he will against Al Iaquinta. Al Iaquinta is good, but there hasn't been any fighter really that's been able to stop the takedowns of Khabib Nurmagomedov and to sustain the amount of pressure that Khabib puts on his opponents. I think Max would have been definitely a better option, but they would not let Max cut the weight because it was too dangerous for him to take the fight based on how much weight he would have had to cut to do the fight. I think Max would have brought a war, but I think Al Iaquinta is going to bring a war tonight too for Khabib Nurmagomedov. It's going to be a closer fight than I'm sure what a lot of people think, and who knows, maybe Raging Al could take him out. You never know in UFC, anything can happen. We also got word Brock Lesnar's coming back to UFC at some point. There's potential that maybe Brock Lesnar might be fighting the winner of Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic, which I believe is UFC 226 this July, so that's big news. Whoever wins that fight could possibly get a shot at Brock Lesnar coming back to UFC, which I think will be an amazing fight too, and it's going to do really good numbers if you have those two guys fighting. I mean, Stipe is a monster at heavyweight division. Cormier too, so it's going to be interesting to see if Stipe can stop the takedowns of Daniel Cormier, and if Stipe will be able to keep him grounded and land the big shots that he needs to finish this fight. The heavyweight division, I believe, is in a really good spot right now with Stipe and Daniel, and with Brock potentially coming back to UFC after tomorrow night. Lots of good potential there for the heavyweight division. John Jones too, we're still waiting to see what happens with John Jones. Based on the USADA thing, if he gets the ban, it's probably going to be a 4-year ban for John Jones, but if it's not a 4-year ban and they're able to do something, who knows, we could get Brock Lesnar versus John Jones at some point into the UFC, which would also be a really good match. I know that we're talking about doing that when John beat Daniel Cormier, so it's definitely an option for them if they wanted to go that route, depending what happens with John Jones. I got some pop figures too I'm going to show you guys in this stream as well. We're just talking about UFC 223, guys, which is available now. You can order it on pay-per-view. It starts at 10 o'clock tonight. Headlining fight is Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Raging Al Iaquinta. Co-main event, I believe, is going to be Thug Rose Namajunas against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Definitely, if you guys have seen their first fight, you know that this second fight is going to be fire. It's my potential winner for fight of the night, I would say, who's going to go to Rose and Joanna, depending. Their first fight was incredible, so I think this fight here is going to be just as good, if not a little bit better, based on the fact that Joanna looks a little bit more stronger. She looks like she had a better weight cut, a better training camp, and it looks like she's going to bring the fight to Rose. I'm sure Rose is going to bring the fight back, so it's going to be a heck of a tilt, a 5-rounder for sure. Alright guys, I know you guys like pop figures, so I'm going to show off what I got today, guys, in order of pop figures. I got Ruby from Ash vs. Evil Dead. Just picked that one up today. I got Ghostbuster Dustin, Stranger Things. Bought Ash vs. Evil Dead. And then I got Ghostbuster Mike. And Ghostbuster Will. Got those all today, guys. Brand new pops. Definitely recommend those ones, guys. If you're big fans of Stranger Things, definitely check out the Ghostbusters pops, as I got all of those. Got this one too recently, the other day. Ghostbuster Lucas. and Max. So if you're big on Stranger Things, guys, definitely check out those pops. Those pops are really, really cool. So that's the pops, guys. We're breaking down UFC 223. Well, what's left of UFC 223 after the Conor McGregor situation, which took out Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg, and also injured one of the UFC staff members. So Chiesa is off the card, Ray Borg is off the card. But all in all, we still have a pretty solid card, minus those guys. So definitely, guys, check it out tonight. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Raging Al La Quinta. It's gonna be a heck of a fight. I don't see Khabib losing tonight, though. I see Khabib being able to dominate this fight, bringing it where he wants to bring in this fight. Al La Quinta is tough. Like, he's gonna land some punches, but will he be able to stop the takedown attempts of Khabib? My guess is probably not. Khabib is probably the best wrestler that the UFC has ever come across. Striking, he's undefeated. He's 24-0, I believe, or 26-0. It's going to be a good fight. When does it start? It starts at, prelims are at 8 o'clock, and the main card will be at 10 o'clock tonight. It was originally scheduled to be Khabib versus Max Holloway, but Holloway had to pull out. They wouldn't let him do the weight cut. They said it was just too much, and he couldn't do it. And then, after Holloway fell through, it was supposed to be Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis fell through based on money, so they couldn't do Anthony Pettis. Paul Felder was going to take the fight. He fell through based on the fact that he's too far down the rankings to fight Khabib. So then it ended up, the fourth person ended up being Raging Al La Quinta. So he's fighting tonight on what is the anniversary of, if you guys remember, Matt Serra when he first fought GSP. Everybody thought George St. Pierre was going to come in there and dominate Matt Serra, and it was the other way around. Matt Serra shocked the world and knocked out GSP. So we could have another one of those upsets tonight in the event, but my money, I think, would probably be on Khabib for tonight. If they hopefully smooth out the Conor situation, if that gets smoothed out or something happens there that he only gets a fine or a minor suspension, probably 6 months down the road, we're probably looking at Khabib versus Conor, which is probably going to do amazing numbers. Those two guys, if they ever fought for the championship, would be an incredible fight, especially based on Conor's striking. His takedown defense isn't the greatest, which he would really have to work on his takedown defense if he was going to be able to stop Khabib Nurmagomedov from taking him down and possibly embarrassing him in a fight. So definitely something to look forward to with UFC. As I mentioned earlier, if you just popped on, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to wrap this up shortly. But the winner of Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier, which is UFC 226, I believe it's July for that one. The winner of that one, Dana White was saying, is possibly that's Brock Lesnar's return match will be against the winner of that, Stipe or Daniel Cormier, which I think is going to be an amazing fight, depending who wins that one. If it's Stipe and Brock, it'd be incredible. If it's Stipe, or if it's Cormier and Brock, it'll be a really good fight as well. So definitely looking forward to seeing what UFC does there with the Cormier and Stipe fight coming this July. The winner supposedly is going to get a chance to fight Brock Lesnar. Definitely looking forward to see what they do there. Another big super fight I'd like to see from UFC would probably be Brock Lesnar versus Francis Ngannou. I think that would be a great fight as well. I'm from Europe, so can you tell me what time it is now? Here it's 7:30ish. But no, there are definitely good options on the table for when Brock comes back to UFC, with possibly fighting the winner Stipe and Daniel Cormier. Next UFC card is going to be amazing as well. You got Raquel Pennington going up to challenge Amanda Nunes for the Women's Bantamweight Championship. That match is going to be guns blazing. Raquel Pennington has looked amazing in her last couple fights, going up against a tough task and taking on Amanda Nunes, who I think has probably been the most dominant female champion that UFC's had in quite a while since Ronda Rousey, who is making her WrestleMania debut tomorrow, for those of you who care about that. But yeah, I mean, Amanda Nunes has definitely been the most dominant female athlete, I think. What are your thoughts on the McGregor incident? I think it was incredibly dumb on his part. If he wanted to fight Khabib, he should have just talked to Dana White, figured out the contract, because they were very close to penciling out a new contract for Conor McGregor before the whole situation unfolded. They could have worked it out. Hey, if Khabib wins tonight, book it down the line. Conor versus Khabib would have done amazing pay-per-view numbers. Now they're in a situation where they don't know what's happening with Conor. If he's going to get jail time, if he gets fined, suspension. It's all up in the air right now at this point. Looking like the only option that they might have for Khabib is either GSP is not even healthy, and Khabib really wants GSP next. He thinks that would be a good legacy fight, but if GSP is not able to go and he's not healthy, I think the next best option for him at maybe at a 170 at a catchweight fight would be Max Holloway. They're the two most dominant fighters in this generation right now. Holloway's basically flown through the entire featherweight division. He's been unstoppable. And Khabib is undefeated. So I think if I was the UFC, that would be the fight I would want to book down the line, depending on what happens tonight. I would book Khabib versus Max Holloway at a catchweight. He's hyping the fight between him and Khabib, and honestly, Conor would knock out Khabib, because when Khabib comes for the takedown, it's possible Khabib could get caught going for the takedown against Conor, but not many people have been able to catch Khabib. He's been rock solid with his groundwork and his striking. He's looked dominant. He's looked very dominant in the past against those guys, so definitely it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight against Raging Al La Quinta, and what happens with Conor maybe down the road. But I think the fight that they have to book right at this moment would be Max Holloway. It's the only fight that makes sense on this card, based on that.
Finally, put Cena up.
Yep, nice.
He's not hiding. Oh wow.
Just doing the UFC stream.
Nice. Watching movies.
Thanks, man.
Got lucky. It worked earlier today, so we were able to do something after all.
Nice.
You never made this yours. Yeah, I wore UFC today.
CM Punk, Conor McGregor, this is the best that could be.
I'll put these here for now. So we're doing predictions, I'm guessing?
Yeah, just talking through it with the card.
Nice.
Yeah, Conor's accuracy definitely is really, really good. It's second to none. If he can catch Khabib, which he might be able to. Mark Jenks from Canada, man. We're breaking down UFC 223. The co-main event is going to be rock solid, too. If you didn't see Rose Namajunas versus Ioana and Jacek 1, you definitely missed a hell of a fight. Rose was able to shock the world and TKO Ioana in the second round. I think tonight is going to be a little bit different. I see it possibly going 5 rounds, with maybe Rose picking up the win, but it's going to be a decision win. It won't be I can't see it being another knockout tonight.
Nice.
Well, I got new pops too. I'll show you those after.
Nice.
Chucky.
There's 2 of your little ones I see.
Yeah, I got those out of those thingies.
Yeah, I was saying, they're cool.
Chick with the boobs, I don't know her name.
Oh, that's, I know her name, I can't think of it though. Boo-Roll.
And the Demigorgon guy who's a chase.
Nice.
Then I got Chucky. All kinds of other cool things.
Oh, perfect.
I'll show you all those ones after. Alrighty, well, time is it over there? It is 7:30, man. We are about, I'm not sure how many, the prelims will be starting at 8 o'clock. There's some good ones on the prelims too, guys. You got Felice Herrig taking on Carolina Kovalkiewicz. You got, frick, who else on the prelims? I'm drawing a blank. There's a bunch of great fights on the prelims as well as the main card. Victoria should have put. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting fight to see what happens, if it does happen, with Khabib and. Oh, it's coming out for the event there, buddy. For sure. It's definitely coming out for the event. Yeah, Michael Chiesa was on the card, but he got to be pulled out due to a serious injury because of the Conor incident, which caused facial lacerations to Michael Chiesa. He had to pull out of the fight. Ray Borg had to pull out of the fight because he got glass in his eye from the Conor incident, so that was another good fight that was on this card. But there's still some decent fights. Joe Lozon is on this card, and he's always one of those fighters that definitely gets you fight of the night. 100%. He's one of the best fighters that UFC has. Rose and Uena too is definitely a high selling point. And then you got Khabib and Al La Quinta, which is going to be a great fight. Let's see what else they say. Oh, I got this guy.
Oh, nice. You finally got them, basically.
I got them all. I got the other ones in there. And I got Max.
Oh, nice.
Stranger Things.
Oh, that's cool. I'm missing one of these, aren't you? Or what's the name of?
The only one I'm missing, I think, is Joyce. Nice. Then I have the whole set.
You have these pop figures.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's basically it on the UFC front, guys. As I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining, Dana White announced today. Oh, yeah. Dana White announced today that the winner of Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 2, or not 2, but Stipe versus Cormier, the winner of that one, is going to be fighting potentially Brock Lesnar for his comeback match in the UFC, which would definitely be a heck of a fight. I'm definitely looking forward to Stipe and Cormier, see who wins that, and whoever gets to fight Brock Lesnar is going to be an amazing match to see what Brock Lesnar can do against a heavy-handed, great heavyweight in Stipe, or Daniel Cormier, who's wrestling is second to none, and see what Brock can do against a guy like DC. The UFC could be looking at promoting Khabib versus Conor, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with Conor, with the lawsuits and stuff like that. Have they been? Oh, the pop figures? Not. Oh, these ones here have, yeah, but the pop figures have not. No. I got new pop ones today, guys. I'll show you quickly before I end the streams. I got Ghostbuster Will, Ash from Ash vs. Evil Dead, Ghostbuster Dustin,
There's Dustin.
Ghostbuster Mike, and Ruby from Ash vs. Evil Dead, as well as the last kid there, Ghostbuster Lucas.
Oh, that's kid.
And Max with skateboard. Still looking to get Max without the skateboard with the Halloween outfit, but I haven't been able to find that one yet. Yeah, I haven't found that one yet, but I'm hoping to. Oh yeah, put Max in there too. Cool. Yeah, the pop figures are pretty cool. Started to collect them there, pretty neat. Alrighty guys, we'll take a few more questions and we'll end this and start watching the prelims for UFC 223. And if you guys are big fans of Ronda Rousey, if you like what she did in UFC, you can catch her tomorrow, guys. If you have the WWE Network, you can catch her tomorrow at WrestleMania 34, I believe. Thanks, man. Yeah, like Chucky said, is pretty cool. Yeah, animatronic Chucky, he talks.
You do know who I am, and if you know what's good for you, you are going to love, honor, and obey.
That's cool.
I just dropped the box thingy. Thanks, X Games. I'm glad you liked the Chucky set. And if you like UFC, I'm sure you've seen my pictures. Stevie Ray autograph, Aljamain Sterling, Chris Weidman, and Chrissy Blair is right over there, yeah. Alrighty. Anything else to add for UFC?
Nope. UFC guy.
For WWE? Any more cheap plugs for WrestleMania?
All spoilers, I can't say anything.
So there you go, guys. If you haven't ordered your UFC 223, definitely order it now, guys. Check it out on pay-per-view at 10 o'clock. Headlining bout is Khabib Nurmagomedov against Raging Al La Quinta. Thug Rose Namajunas against Ioane and Jacek. Two solid fights, guys. Definitely check them out on pay-per-view. That's all I got for UFC.
There you go.
We can see if they flood in any more questions, then I'll end it. We'll play some games before the prelims.
Yeah, but I actually just went last thing on midnight without the card being taken up with Connor.
Yeah, I don't know what they have left. My phone is still charging. I can't even Google it.
Oh, my phone's off at the moment.
And probably Houdini again. Hopefully not, but it's good.
That's why it's staying off. Yours dies my Houdini 14.
Oh, yeah. What game am I gonna play? I'm not gonna play any games, I don't think. I'm gonna watch the prelims. They'll be live coming up shortly on TSN for us in Canada, and I believe it's Fox Sports 1 for the people in the States. I believe it's Fox Sports 1 and TSN for Canada. Definitely, it's gonna be good to watch the prelims. Sometimes you get the prelims are better than the actual fight card, which hopefully is not the case tonight, but it could very well be. A lot of these prelim guys are really hungry young fighters, and they want to prove themselves. And sometimes those fights end up being the best fights on the card. Even when you have a guy like Khabib fighting in the main event. Yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the pop figures. Got quite a few of them. The Chucky set, the Pinhead, all kinds of cool horror stuff. The UFC autographs from when they were in Ottawa. I believe it was last year or the year before. Yeah, guys, if you like the video, like the stream, definitely feel free to add me, klown3333, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, klown3333. All kinds of video game streams, different games, different shows like UFC thing tonight, pop figures, surprise unboxings that we sometimes do on this show. If you watched my last video, I was unboxing these cool little Funko figures that are the little ones. Favorite MMA fighter? Damn, there's so many good ones. I'm an old school dude, so I would probably say back in the day it was Chuck Liddell was probably my favorite back in the day. GSP is definitely one of my all-time favorites, being a Canadian. You gotta love GSP. If you're a Canadian and you hate GSP, then I don't know, something's wrong there. But no, there's a lot of good fighters. Connor's good.
Brock.
Rose Namajunas. I really enjoy the way that she fights. Amanda Nunes. Cyborg's probably the most violent female fighter that they have in the UFC bantamweight division. But the next one, guys, is going to be a good one. UFC 224 will be next. You will get great fights such as Raquel Pennington taking on Amanda Nunes. Should be an instant classic for the Women's Bantamweight Championship. That fight card also features Vitor Belfort's retirement fight as he's taking on Lyoto Machida, as well as some other good fights on that card. So definitely check out UFC 224. Check out UFC 223 tonight. Khabib Nurmagomedov against what's his name? Raging Al La Quinta, and Rose Namajunas against Joanna Jędrzejczyk 2. I'm gonna need more water. You want a water?
Sure.
Alright, I'll grab a water. I'll end the stream in a second. Just let me know if there's any other ones.
Yep. Anything else I saw, but I might come in and get your back.
Alright. Yeah.
I don't go much longer, because I end up going to the pre-show.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys, we'll take maybe one or two more questions. Then we're going to go watch the pre-show for UFC 223, which is live on Fox Sports 1 in the States, and I believe it's live on TSN in Canada.
I believe so.
Definitely check out the prelims, guys. Felice Herrig, Carolina Kovalevich, Beck Rawlings, Oliver Oban Mercier. Lots of great fighters to watch, guys, tonight on UFC 223. And I think I will end it there. Thank you guys for checking out the stream. Definitely feel free to subscribe to the channel, klown3333, or you guys can add me on PlayStation if you want, klown3333. Definitely be doing more of these streams next time I order my next UFC pay-per-view. But definitely order now, guys. It's available in a few hours. UFC 223, Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Raging Al La Quinta. Rose Namajunas versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk 2. Live on pay-per-view at 10 o'clock.
I thought you were going to say Groovy.